Alex Rackle from Board Game Co. and today we're reviewing Pet Quartet from Gamehead. Pet Quartet is a riff on Colorado. If you've played Colorado, everything I'm about to show you is going to be very, very familiar, and yet it's also different enough at the same time. In Pet Quartet, you're going to be basically dealing out cards, but you are attempting to get either 1 or 4 of each card. You either want a soloist, a single card, or quartet, 4 of a set in order to get those cards. But the hook is that you have 3 3s, 4 4s, 5 5s, 6 6s, 7 7s, etc. all the way up to, I believe, 13, although you do take some cards out depending on the player count. So right now, I'm set up for 4 players over here, purely because that's the last player count that I played this in person, and we're going to go ahead and start creating little rows. We have our conductors over here that are going to be the heads of the rows, and then the first player is going to go ahead and flip over a card, and they're going to see that this card, they're going to put it over here by this conductor. There's not really a lot of choice with their first card because, you know, you're just placing a person by any card, doesn't really matter. The next player goes ahead and goes. They could take this card, or they could take another card. Let's take this card. Ooh, it's another 10. Ooh, this is tricky. They'll go ahead and put it on that same set over here. Maybe that's tempting for player number 3, but it's not. Player number 3 goes ahead and grabs a card. It's a 5. They'll put it on a new conductor. Player number 4 over here grabs a card. It's a 3. They'll put it on a new conductor, and it's back to player number 1. Okay, again, at any given point, a player can either take a set of cards from a conductor, has to be at least 1, you cannot take an empty set, or you are drawing a card and placing it somewhere on the table. Player number 1 will once again draw a card. They'll place it over here next to the 3. Player number 2 over here is going to draw a card. They'll place this down over here by the 8. Player number 3 is going to draw a card. They'll place this, ooh, it's another 8 over here. Let's put this by the 10, which brings us to player number 4, and player number 4 is actually going to go ahead and be the first player to take a set of cards. They're going to take this set, the conductor's off the table, and now the other players are still in it. So again, we go back to whatever player we're up to over here. The next player goes ahead, draws a card. They place it out. Ooh, they could join it up with the 5s. They'll go ahead and place it on the 8. And actually, the next player is going to go ahead and take the 8 and the 5, specifically taking these out of play because we already have a 5 and an 8 out, which makes the chances of getting either 1 or 4 slightly higher. 4 5s will be tricky at this point, but hopefully they can just get 1. They're going to go ahead and continue playing. The next player goes ahead and draws a card. They'll place that 5 over here, and now the last player has a choice. They can either take the 10 10 8 5, or they can take the 5. They'll go ahead and take that set over here, and the next player goes ahead and draws a card, and it's another 5. Ooh, because you can keep going. One thing I should say is each column can only have a maximum of 4 cards, which means they'll actually go ahead and draw another card. They'll place it out. It's a 4, and they'll draw another card, and it's a 6, at which point they'll go ahead and take that set. Now, they could have stopped at any given point. Which means going into the next round, things are going to be a bit different, because going into the next round, first of all, we have a cattail, but secondly is now your sets are going to define what you are interested in getting. So for example, if we place out more cards over here, player number 1 goes ahead and places a card out, it goes to the 6th. Player number 2 places a card out, goes over here. Player number 3 places a card out, goes there. Player number 4 places a card out, they'll go ahead and put it by the 6th. Player number 1 goes back, places a card out. Ooh, this one, they'll go ahead and place it by the 6th. Player number 2 will take the card, they'll place this by over here. Player number 3 will place this, ooh, we'll place this again over here. At this point, this player over here will go ahead and take that set and add it. They're out of the round, and now they have a quartet. They have 4 10s over here. That's a quartet. That's the basic idea of play. We can keep playing this out, obviously, but in general, players are trying to take sets of cards, being mindful that at the end of the game, you only score for 1s and 4s. Now, the basic mode of the game is a 1 card or 4 card, same number of points, plain and simple. The advanced version of the game, which I definitely recommend playing with, I find there's a lot more tenseness around those 1s and 4s, is a 1 card scores its value. If at the end of the game, this player just had these 2 cards, that's an 8 and a 5, that's 13 points. This player over here, on the other hand, would have 13 points because of the 8 and the 5, and 4 points for every quartet. Every quartet is 4 points. Every soloist is worth the point value of that card. I really like that scoring mechanism. I find it adds a lot to the game. But as the game continues, you're going to be playing until this deck of cards runs out, although in the very final round, you do have the ability to pass. You don't have to take anything, but until then, you're always taking something, and so you're trying to play the odds of, are you going for those quartets over there? Are you trying to just get the soloist? When do you start a set, knowing that if you start the set later, are you trying to be greedy and get a lot of cards, denying others cards at the table? Or are you trying to be very selective about the cards you take so you can score those soloists and quartets? That's the basic idea of the game. Now there are these maestro tiles over here. These maestro tiles give them to the conductors over here, so you can give a conductor various tiles that will change things. Now you can go ahead and draw a card when you take this. When you take from this conductor, you can discard one of your cards. This one has passing a card to the left, which can be brutal. That person who was counting on having that 9, that's a soloist, and you just pass them a 9, you ruin their entire set. These cards add rules or modulations to the conductors, changing the way you play the game because there are suddenly abilities in play. And over here, if you're playing a 2-player mode, there's also these duet tiles, which again just change the number of cards by each conductor and give you a simulated 3rd conductor in play, even in a 2-player game. It's a 2-player mode. Honestly, I don't think the game is great at 2 players. I think you really want to play this at 3 or higher, and realistically, I think 4 or higher is even better, but 3 is still pretty good. Anyways, that is how you play Pet Quartet. Let's go ahead and talk about my thoughts and opinions on the game. Now, first of all, I am a huge fan of Coloretto. Coloretto is one of my favorite small box games. I've had it in my collection since who knows how long. I've had it for a very, very long time, probably over 10 years at this point. Yeah, probably over 10 years at this point, and it has stood strong. It's a great game. And this feels exactly like Coloretto. It has that same feeling of the tenseness of you're trying to get stuff, but you're trying to be mindful not to get too much stuff. Now, Coloretto is a different scoring system. Check out my review on that if you want to check that out. I don't even know if I've done a review. I'm sure I've done roundup reviews. I'm sure I've shown Coloretto on the channel, but it's a different scoring system as far as how it works. But the general premise of I want lots of cards, but actually I don't want lots of cards. I want precise cards, and that card, if I get it, is actually going to hurt me, but I can go ahead and place it on the row, as well as the tension. The card selection mechanism is exactly the same as Coloretto. You either place a card into a row and the next player can go ahead and benefit from what you did, or you draft that row and you're trying to make a decision as to, is the current offering on the table the right amount, or are you about to mess yourself over by adding one more card, possibly ruining a column and having the other player take the column you are eyeing. That is always the challenge of this game. And so that tenseness of play, that ease of, the accessibility of the ease of strategy as far as what's going on, like the game weight, I don't know what the weight would be, but the rules are very easy to absorb. The rules are very straightforward, but the decision tree over here is intense. There's a lot you're trying to think through how to optimize as you play through this, and it's very satisfying as you do so. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the experience, and I think this is a great riff on Coloretto. I actually originally almost did not pick this up. I got this up at Origins Game Fair. I almost did not pick it up at first because I was like, you know what? It's got cutesy art, but basically I already have Coloretto. Do I need another Coloretto? And I'm very glad that I picked it up because the gameplay experience is different enough that I get a little bit of a different vibe as far as what I'm doing. It is very much the same mechanism. So if you like one, I think you'll like the other. I do think the art over here is very adorable, but the general type of feeling the game has, very similar. So different enough that I'm happy I own both, but similar enough that I recommend one if I recommend the other. As far as things I don't like in the game, very little. I will say that the Maestro mode, those tiles over there, some of them feel like nice little change the game tiles. Others drastically change the experience of the game. If you're playing with that tile where you draft it, where you pass a card to the player to your left when you go ahead and take it, that totally changes the way you play the game, because you can't just take a soloist hoping you get 9 points. Someone else can deny you that soloist at any point, and so it suddenly changes up the measurement of the game. Are players playing to screw each other over? Are they playing for their own agency? I would say that I've played a few games with the Maestro tiles, and they are nice to have, and I appreciate having the option to throw them in to mix up the experience, but I think the core experience, the advanced mode to be clear, the advanced mode of the game, the advanced scoring, but the core playing experience is definitely my favorite way to play. Maestro tiles are just nice to experience something different if you want that variety at the table. I need to sleeve this set over here. I need to sleeve this sooner rather than later because this game's going to get played a lot. Anyways, that's overall Pet Quartet. Do I have any real negatives about it? Not really negatives. I mean, you might want to be mindful that a game like this does have the ability to lose points through sheer luck of the draw. Sometimes it's very much about playing the odds. It's about playing the players, playing the odds, and trying to make the best judgment call at the time. But also games like this do have, you could be playing a perfect game, I could be playing a perfect game, and then suddenly one of us gets messed over because of the luck of what comes out at any given point. That's definitely a thing. I'll also say that the end game last round mode, where this kind of like, you know, at the very end, when the deck runs out, it's kind of a, okay, take a card if you want, or don't. You kind of have one turn left for each player when the deck runs out, but you don't have to take something. You can simply pass and take nothing. I understand why that's in play, but I'm debating house ruling a variant to that, because it kind of feels like the game ends on a lack of the teeth, a lack of the, you know, what's going to happen and will this play out in my favor or not. I like the fact that Coloretto and Pet Quartet for most of the game has a lot of teeth, a lot of risk up to what decision do I want to make. And when you get to the very end, it's kind kind of like, no, I'll take the things that help me and I'll ignore the things that hurt me. And while that's nice, it's not in the spirit of the game, at least the spirit of the game as far as I want it. So that final ending is a little anticlimactic. The rest of the game experience is excellent. Anyways, that's basically my review of it. Final thoughts-wise, I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. If you like Coloretto, I think you'll like this. If you've never played Coloretto, definitely give this a shot. It is a game that can be on the mean side. It's not a game that's purely about, ooh, we get things and we get nice points. It's a game like, oh, I see you have 12 points right now. Let me try to make sure that I can get you another 12 so you don't get 12 points, because I don't want you to have 12 points. Maybe if you get 4, I can live with that, but not 12. So let's go ahead and feed you some more 12s as we try to play the game. As far as other game recommendations, definitely check out Coloretto. Lord knows I've said it enough times throughout this video. If you like this game, check out Coloretto. And if you like Coloretto, check out this game. And not that it's a similar game, but it does have a similar kind of feeling to it. I highly recommend No Thanks. It's another game that's been in my collection for 10 plus years. It's another one of those small card box games that has a ton of decision space over a very, very simple game as far as the push your luck of playing the players and playing the game with a little bit of reverse bidding kind of. You're trying to get cards because, well, cards are negative points, but if you get the right combinations of cards, it's advantageous. There's a lot to explore there, but No Thanks. Definitely recommend checking that out if you like a very, very meaty experience in very small box games. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex from Board Game Co. I hope you found this review helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.